In this video, I'm going to answer the most important questions that everybody has right now about the real estate market in the lower mainland, in Greater Vancouver, in the Fraser Valley. Now, in this document that I will share with you, I'm going to answer how far are prices up since it's all started back, it started right around COVID or March, April 2020. How much have prices dropped since we hit peak? And as well, where are the buyer and seller markets? How do we find the opportunity? My name is Mark Parsons with eXp Realty. This is my real estate market update this month. I'm doing it completely different than I've ever done it because I feel there is so much confusion out there right now. We're in the middle of such a major shift in the real estate market, and if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, you need absolute clarity. You need to understand the difference between property types and different markets throughout the lower mainland to make the best decisions. So let me hop right into it. Again, guys, I'm going to share this document with you. If you go to the description in the YouTube video here, you'll be able to click it and download it. Now, if you are looking to buy or sell, it may look overwhelming, but all you have to actually do is find your market. So I'll show you how to navigate the document. I'll show you how to interpret it, but I promise you will be able to get the answers to your questions in under 30 seconds when you download this document specific to your property type and your area. So let's hop into it. To navigate the document, we've got the three sub areas here, which is the three major areas: Greater Vancouver, Metro Vancouver, and the Fraser Valley. So when you're in one of these tabs, you will have every city that is within that jurisdiction, and you will have each property type. So that's how you find what you're looking for. If you're looking to buy a Coquitlam condo, you don't need to look at all of it. You don't need to look at Metro Vancouver, Fraser Valley. You just got to find what you're looking for. If you're looking to sell a detached home in New Westminster, then this is the only line that's important to you, but I'm going to show you how to interpret the data. For realtors who may want to have access to all of that data to really understand the market overall, feel free to click it and download it. This will be really, really good for you. And for investors who might be considering a couple areas or a few areas or maybe different property types, you're going to find all your answers in here as well. So you can navigate by the jurisdiction down here. You scroll down to find your city, and within each city you're going to see your property type that you're looking for. So let's get to this. The top three things. I'm going to start with the top three things that I think are most important. The current price versus April 2020. What does it matter if prices, if you're selling your home and prices peaked back in January? What's important is not how high it went, but where you are at right now from this run. So although we do give you the other information as well, I'm just highlighting on what I think is most valuable. But then I'll go over everything that's in here. But so current price versus April 2020. So you can see market for market, how high prices are up since this all started. For instance, Burnaby here, detached homes are up 40%. Townhomes 20%, condos 12%, and guys, it really varies depending where you go. I mean, you can see here 41, 43, 39. So every market is completely different. But this is where you will find out current price versus April 2020, because the run has had its end now. We've curved off of peak prices, so now we can really say where are we at from this insane run that the real estate market had. Now, the next question that people really want to know is total price drop since peak total price drop since peak in real dollars. So let's just total price drop since peak in real dollars. So this you can see if you scroll down. So in New Westminster, for instance, on average, detached homes are down about $300,000. So, this is how we can start to really spot some opportunity in places, guys, because when prices drop, they drop the most, the earliest, and the fastest while people are figuring out what's going on. So a lot of the places we've already seen the major price drops, and there's a lot of opportunity right now because there is inventory on the market. But I love this column because you can come down and see any market. Pitt Meadows was one of the wildest ones. from $1 million up to almost 2 million. From the bottom to peak, it was up 84%, but then it came down all the way. Now it's only up 10% from where it was in April 2020. That's an average of up about 5% a year. So the fluctuations are incredible, and you can see the market for markets. Some are much less than others. Surrey and the Fraser Valley had some of the highest gains, so they do have some of the sharpest drops as well, and this is going to show it for you. Now, the other thing is current absorption rate. Absorption rate is how we measure the speed of the market, how quickly properties are coming off the market through successful sales. Now, this is how we measure if we're in a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market. So in this column here, over here, they're color-coded just if they're positive or negative. So you can see when it's a positive percentage, it's green. When it's a negative percentage, it's red. But over here, it's color-coded of if it is a buyer's market, a balanced market, or a seller's market. Now, I will let you know, in Vancouver, in the Greater Vancouver Area, when we are in a balanced market, it feels like we are in a buyer's market. In Vancouver, it only seems like there is seller's market, or it flips to buyer's market and back. But the reality is there are ways to measure it, and this is how we can kind of get guidance of where prices are going. Now, if a market is in a seller's market for a sustained period of time, typically 3 months or more, we'll have upward pressure on prices. In a buyer's market, again, if it's there for a sustained period of time for 3 months or more, typically we'll have downward pressure. And then a balanced market is typically where things stay flat. But in Vancouver, when the market was so crazy high, and it has a drop from an insane seller's market, even just to a normal or more calm seller's market, prices are going to reflect with that as well, as we have seen. But what you can see here is it's color coded, so you can see where the seller's markets are. Now, a couple things I will note here. And, so green is where we've hit some buyer's markets. So out of Metro Vancouver, in some of the more expensive neighborhoods, it's actually dipped into buyer's markets there. West Vancouver, Vancouver West Side, city of Vancouver as a whole is in a buyer's market. And then when we get out to the Fraser Valley, Surrey has dropped. It had a very high up, very high down, and you'll be able to download this document and navigate it, and you can see it really depends. Like in the property type, North Delta condos, 60% absorption rate. This is a very strong seller's market. And then here we are in a buyer's market for townhomes and a balanced market for detached. And again, I will say that any balanced market is going to feel like a buyer's market. But so a couple things that I would like to point out here is number one point that I'm seeing is that across the entire Lower Mainland, it doesn't matter the market. Detached markets, there are no detached markets that are still in sellers markets. So every single detached market has either dropped into a buyer's market or a balanced market. And again, balanced markets are going to feel like buyer's market. But that is definitely a significant marker that we've seen here. Another thing I think worth noting is percentage down from peak. So in the first column here, we have total price increase to peak since April 2020. So you're going to get to see for every location, every property type, how from valley to peak, how high did prices go up. And in some places, that's Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver in general, but it varies. If we come into Metro Vancouver, I mean Vancouver East Side, West Side went up 29% and 36%. But if we come to Pitt Meadows, it went up 84%, and Townhomes went up 97%. Now that is from valley to peak, but then we still have off of peak prices. So one thing I will notice is there is not a single market, so down from peak price. If it's in the red, it means prices are down. There is not a single market in the entire Lower Mainland that is not off of peak prices. Actually, there's one anomaly. Townhomes in Tawasin are still up 0.2%. Now, I imagine by the time we get next month's numbers, that won't be the case, but I think the point is made here is that entire column is in red regardless of regardless of location and regardless of property type. We are off of peak prices, guys. So now the question is to watch it and say, how much off and how far do you think things will go? The truth is, now is when the opportunities are. So two big takeaways: no more sellers markets for detached homes as of last month at all, anywhere across the Lower Mainland. And except for an anomaly, prices are off of peak prices in every single market and every single property type. Okay, so now I'll just quickly go through and let you know what you're going to see here. So across the top, we've got total price increase to peak price since April 2020. So that first column is the entire run from valley to peak. Then we have percentage down from peak price. How much have prices come down? Now, one point I do want to make a point of is when we're measuring the percentage of prices going up, we're measuring it from the average price in April 2020, but when we're measuring it come down, we're measuring it from the peak price. So if this looks a little smaller, like, oh, it only came down 9%, but 9% from 2.3 million, as opposed to where this one was measured from at 1.5 million. So anyway, you can get real context from that, from just saying total price increase from valley to peak. April 2020 to peak was 45, but current price versus April 2020 is 31%. So these two numbers give you relevance against each other of where we were at and where we were now. We've got year-over-year prices here, but that is kind of irrelevant in the big scheme of things, since prices have fluctuated so high, so much, very much up, very much down, depending on the markets. And then over here, we have it in dollars. So these percentages are calculated off of these dollar figures, because I know some people like to see it in percentages. Some people just want to see it in real dollars. So we've got average price April 2020. Average peak price, that's how this number was calculated. Then we have average peak price and current average price, which is how this number was calculated and this number was calculated. And then we have total price drop since peak in real dollars. So this is a dollar figure between your peak price and your current price. You can see it in real dollars. Then we have current inventory on the market. So you can see there's a huge difference if there's 2.5 months of inventory on the market or over 7 months of inventory on the market. And that's why when you see in the color coded here, one is color coded as a seller's market. The other one is color coded as a balanced market. So with that said, guys, you will have the link below where you can click this and download it, so you can just scroll and look at the market to look at the numbers for your market. This will show you exactly what is going on, cut through all of the noise, all of the headlines, all of the newspapers that are giving you generic statistics that really don't mean anything if you're actually buying or selling. If you want to get a hold of me, you can learn up here. Click on the link, learn more about working with me, or if you're a buyer, or seller, or investor, you can book a call with me. And real estate agents, this is how we can get in touch as well. But that's it, guys. Now I'll just go through a couple anomalies and ways you can gather insight out of this. Now, for instance, in Pitt Meadows, we saw prices go from a little over $1 million to just under $2 million. Now, when it was getting up to 1.9, getting near $2 million, I was seeing it. It was something was going to happen, and I'll tell you why. In the Lower Mainland, there has to be natural gaps between certain markets. For instance, at the peak, Pitt Meadows was $1,961,000, and in Port Coquitlam, the peak price was $1,671,000. Now, how Vancouver works, the Greater Vancouver Area, is often as you get farther away from the CBD, the Central Business District, prices drop. And as you go over bridges, that's where you will have extra increases in commute time, whether you're crossing from Pitt Meadows into Port Coquitlam, Surrey into Coquitlam, or any bridges, typically will have a price gap there as well. So when we were starting to see peak prices in Pitt Meadows be almost $300,000 more than peak prices in Port Coquitlam, it just wasn't making sense anymore. Or even peak price in Pitt Meadows being only about $60,000 or $70,000 than an average price in Coquitlam. Once those gaps came too close, something has to happen. It was either the Coquitlam, the areas closer in would have to go up more, but eventually it was hitting the price, or those ones will have the more wild fluctuations back. So from valley to peak, Coquitlam went up 73%. It came down 13%. However, when in Pitt Meadows, it came up 84% and went down 40%. So overall now, although Pitt Meadows had some of the crazy, wildest fluctuations, now it's one of the most reasonable ones in terms of price increases, average over 2 years. Now, it may have some bounce back as well because it's such a wild fluctuation. But right now, it's only up. Average prices were only up 10% from 2 years ago. That's an average of 5% per year. So you can see when you look at it like that, it's much more reasonable than when we watched it go up, 85% in 2 years. So things are kind of balancing themselves out. And this is how we can spot opportunities in market. Another one, when we look at the Fraser Valley and we were looking at, let's say, prices in Surrey peaking at 1,950,000, and again back in Coquitlam here peaking at 2,026,000, only a difference of 75,000, but generally that price gap is much greater. So when that happened, this is how you can start to see how some markets are overinflated. And this could also be looking at the same market, the differences between condos and townhomes, or townhomes and detached. But it is a really good way to pull insight out of the market. So I won't jump into too many more markets because I know it's boring looking at a spreadsheet. But the point I'm making here is the answer to all of your questions is right in here. If you want true insight into your market and the area that you're looking to buy or sell, or the property type you're looking to buy or sell, this is the most important information for you to get perspective on what has happened over the last 2 years and where we're at now. Because the truth is, right now, sellers are still able to sell, taking away gains that are some of the largest gains we have ever seen. But yet buyers are also now getting the choice to be able to, with looking at numbers like this, see where there is opportunity in the market. The bottom line is buyers should be taking action right now. When those real estate is always in cycles, and when we hit this part of the cycle, the buyers that purchase when other people are hesitant or even scared, almost every single time are the ones who end up reaping the biggest gains when we look 5 years out from now. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out. I've also got a couple of do-it-yourself workshops that you can link to below. We've got buy now or buy later, decide with confidence, where you can actually type in how much you believe the market is going to drop. Then you can look at how much the market has already dropped from the numbers you have here. And you can actually calculate out whether it is to your advantage to buy now or buy later. If you look at a 5-year window and see how much equity you'll build down and potential appreciation, things like that. It walks you through everything you should consider for buy now or buy later. It's linked below in the description. You can check it out. And there is a video tutorial of how to use the calculator that runs all of the numbers for you. And we also created one for upsizing your home, deciding with confidence, does it make sense for your financial future? Because to be honest, when we have a shift in the market like this, this is when the biggest opportunities come for people to move up. Because no matter if we come back here and look at it, any market, if the overall cash price drop from detached homes is always going to be larger than that of the other ones. And this creates an opportunity where you can move up and take advantage and get a net positive. Even if you're taking a loss on selling your property, the one that you're buying, the the seller there on the larger property would be taking a larger haircut on the price drops that have happened. So any questions at all, guys, you can just click below in the description and book a call with me, or on this spreadsheet as well, you can book a call with me or see what it's like to work with myself. Any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out, direct message me. I'm available and I'm here to help you navigate the market if you're looking to buy or sell in the Greater Vancouver area. Bye for now.